Welcome all of you once again to my trusted YouTube channel, Accounting with Francisco. Today, it's not just a normal day, like we are doing a lesson, but a day which will make you feel more confident and the day which will make you to take a right decision about your future studies. After watching this video, you can decide whether to join with our trusted learning partner, Accounting with Francisco, to get success in your life. Today, I would like to warmly welcome one of our obedient students who has achieved an A pass for O-level commerce examination, which was held in year 2020, in line with the COVID-19 pandemic. So I warmly welcome THISHAKYA to give a small introduction about her. So hi THISHAKYA.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So first of all, I would like to thank sir for giving me this opportunity to speak with these dear brothers and sisters. So to start off, my name is THISHAKYA WICKRAMASINGHRARACHCHi. I study at Lyceum International School, Wattala. I did Cambridge O-levels and then I decided to do my A-levels from the national curriculum. So for that, I wanted to lay a foundation. I wanted to get an idea about this national curriculum. So I decided to do some subjects from national O-levels as well. So I did maths, English and commerce. And one of the main challenges I faced was time. I didn't have a lot of time to focus on national O-levels because I was doing A-levels at the same time, national A-levels. And then 3 days before the exam, I was in search of a tutor for commerce to get familiar with the paper formats, the syllabus content. And fortunately, one of my teachers recommended Sir Francesco. So I contacted him on the same day. And I'm so grateful towards Sir for accepting me for the class, even though there was just 3 days left.
Yes, so thank you very much, THISHAKYA. For now, I would like to share your question paper, So can you remember how you were agitated and excited after you came from the exam? So can you tell to your friend how you manage your time and how you were able to answer all the questions? Yes, THISHAKYA.
Yeah, so when it comes to the MCQs, I think it's important, not just MCQs, in general, when it comes to any question, it's important that we read the question because under the exam pressure, we tend to forget stuff. So what I do for that is I underline all the important points. So maybe an important word, it can be even an important sort of like a number that you need for your calculations, a date sometimes. So something like that. Anything that you find important, it's good if you can underline it. And then coming to MCQs, the strategy that I use for MCQs is, first of all, I answer all the questions. I answer it the way I can, with the answers that I think is correct. And then what I do is now, when it comes to MCQs are very tricky. There are 4 answers and sometimes all the 4 answers look alike, or maybe 2 answers look alike. It can be very confusing and tricky. So in such a case, what I do is I circle the question. I write an answer. I somehow write an answer. The reason why I don't skip MCQs is, in case if I don't have time to come back to the questions that I have left, then it's going to be in vain. So I answer everything in one go. And even for difficult questions, I write an answer that I think is correct. But then I circle the questions that I think are difficult, that I think I have not done properly. And then when it comes to rechecking the paper, I come to the circled questions. So as we can see here, question number 33, I have circled because I wasn't sure. So I came back to question number 33 and I rechecked. Likewise. So, and then if you can recheck the whole paper, I think that will be great because we are humans. Ultimately, we make mistakes even at the exam. So if we can reach it, we can minimize these errors and do a good job at the exam.
Thank you very much, Tishakya. So now, would you like to give some advice to your friends for their future studies?
Yeah, so when it comes to studies, I think the main thing is planning it out. Because often what I have seen with myself, my friends, is the fact that we think we have enough time. So now in the case of O levels, I think at the initial stages, we think, okay, we have 2 years and that time would be more than enough. And then the time narrows down to 1 year. And then we think, okay, we have 1 year, that time is going to be enough. And then we just don't study. And then time narrows down to 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, so on and so forth. And then we come to this one point when we realize that we don't have time. And then that's where we panic, that's where we get nervous, that's where we get scared about the exam. So all of these feelings arise when we think that we don't have time. So I think it's better if we think think that time is important. Each day during these 2 years are important. If we think in that way, and then if we plan it out, if we plan out which topic we will do on a certain day, how much time will I need for each topic, something like that. It can be any way. You can have a timetable or some way. Do what works for you. Don't just now, say for an example, just because I say it, if you think it's not going to work for you, then don't do. Because each of us are unique, and what works for me may not work for you. So yeah, so the first thing is planning it out. The second thing is we often read the note and then we highlight the important points. Personally, I think this is not very effective and efficient when it comes to studying. So there's this thing called active recall. Active recall means now when we study something, we take things into our mind. But what active recall does is it helps you, it means that you have to put things out of your mind. So say for an example that you're studying a certain topic, so you studied it, and then after that, now once you have got the concept into your mind, all the subtopics and the content into your mind, you have to put it out of your mind. So you can use a short note. A lot of people use short notes. So yeah, you can use short notes or any way that works for you. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of short notes. I rarely make short notes. I am a kinesthetic learner, which means I use like actions and stuff. I want energy when I'm studying. So sometimes I just imagine there is a person in front of me. Sometimes I just take my phone and then I record myself as if I'm teaching someone. I learn something and then I teach it to an imaginary person. So you can do that. And then I would say do a lot of past papers. Now, when it comes to business studies and commerce, people think it's a very theoretical subject, and as long as we study the book, we can ace the exam. But that's not the actual case, because theory most of us can understand, but the way we apply it to the past paper or the paper that we write at the end of the day, that's what's important. That is what counts at the end of the day. So do as much as past papers as you can, so that you can apply the theory you learn. And also when we are studying now, we have to study definitions. We have to study now in commerce, in business studies, we learn how things work in businesses. So try to imagine from yourself, imagine from your mind how this works in the real world, instead of just sort of studying like a parrot or just memorizing things. Think how you can apply it to the real world. So then it will be very helpful to remember it. And also, I think it's important that we make learning fun and interesting. So O-levels and A-levels are very important times of our lives, and it doesn't mean that you should study all day and think of studying as a very boring thing. often all of us think studying is very boring and none of us like it. But there are ways to make it fun, to make it interesting. So if we find them, then the experience of studying overall becomes really great and you will start loving it. So some ways of doing it is through mind maps. I have found mind maps really helpful. So what a mind map necessarily does is you take certain topics, say that you take a certain topic, and then in it you find the content. So subtopics and subtopics, something like that. So you put everything onto one single sheet of paper and then you show the relationship between each topic, how it relates to the main topic. So you can do that. And another thing is acronyms. So acronyms means basically taking the first letter of each word and remembering something. So a recent example that I learned was the objectives, the characteristics of objectives, that is SMART. So specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time. Now, instead of studying 5 characteristics, I think if I just remember SMART, the word SMART, that will help me remember it. And also, like I said, when it comes to making studying fun, I record videos. I make presentations sometimes. So that really helps me to remember things, and it doesn't make studying boring as well. And then finally, I would like to give some tips right before you sit for the exam. So often people think that we should, when we are writing, of course, like when we are writing the exam, we think, okay, I'm going to go for the exam and I'm going to ace it. That's the mindset that we think we must have. But for me, I think it's very dangerous to have this mindset. Of course, we have to, work for an A, but don't necessarily think that you will get an A, or don't sit for the exam thinking you will get an A, because sometimes this mindset can put you under pressure. Say that you see a difficult question in the exam and you think, okay, now if I mess this question up, I'm not going to get my A. So that will affect the way you write the paper a lot. So instead of that, just think that you will do what I can. So now the best example is myself, because I prepared for the exam 3 days back. I joined sir's class 3 days back, and practically I couldn't read the whole book, the whole what do you call the textbook. But I went for the exam thinking, okay, it's fine, I'll do what I can. And that mindset helped me to relax during the exam also, because I didn't go with a lot of high expectations. So yeah, I think those mindsets are important, and working consistently. So just because you study today, make sure that you do it every day, like work consistently. And I think you'll be able to pass the exams very easily. Won't be a difficult thing.
Yes. So thank you, THISHAKYA. Now, I also can remember when I did my O level and A level also. So I also used to study with fun. So like you. So, can you tell me now how you got the help from my class? How it was helpful to you?
Yes, sir. So I think the first and the main thing is the fact that sir accepted me for the class just 3 days before. I don't think any tutor would do that. And that was, at the time, it was a great help. So I'm really grateful for sir for accepting me for the class. And then after that, when I came for the class, I think we had one live online class, and during the class sir explained all the important things. So it was a very helpful summary for me. Now it was just 2 hours, but the summary was really efficient, because sir explained me about the paper formats, how the MCQs will be asked, how the important definitions that we must remember, the syllabus, the important things in the syllabus. So even though it was just 2 hours, I think it was very efficient for me. And then sir gave me the access to many recordings for the past paper discussions, and that was also very helpful in understanding the paper format, the type of questions that will be questioned, the topics that would be tested. So yeah, I think it was thanks to sir that I got the got my result. So yeah, it was very helpful, and I recommend it to any person, any Nangi or Madhvi who is doing O levels, or anyone who is doing A levels.
So thank you very much, THISHAKYA, for joining with us. So thank you very much for listening to this video. So with accounting with Francisco Fernando, right? So subscribe our channel and put a like. Okay. So have a nice day. So let's meet again, guys. Thank you very much.